Okay, let's get familiar with the LEGO Spike Prime programming app. From this main menu, you could click on Start if you wanted to go into any of the onboard tutorials we looked at in the previous video. To get back to your home screen, click on Home. And down here is where we want to go right now. We're going to start a new project. I'm going to select Word Blocks. And this lands me inside of my programming interface. Just so you know, down here you can zoom in so you can read those programming blocks a little more clearly. And then we have categories along the left-hand side, starting with the motors. So if you want to control any of the three motors individually, you're going to use these blue coding blocks over here. The next category is movement. And similar to the motors category above, the movement category, which is pink, will allow you to control both motors at the same time. So this is really good if you're doing driving based robots. Down here next we have light. So this will control some of the LEDs that we'll see on our hub in terms of this face here. So when I turn on the hub, notice we have that heart shape there. Those are programmable as well. So if you go down here, I can change what that happy face is going to look like. And I can connect my bot over here, which we showed in a previous video. I'm going to turn on the Bluetooth, connect my bot, and I'm going to play this onto the hub. And you'll see I have kind of a happy face that I've altered showing up for 2 seconds. Okay, I'm going to stop that program over here. Next category is the sound. So again, we can play some of these sounds. It'll actually play through the system sound, so to whatever device you're programming on, that sound will play. I'm going to connect here. And that plays a cat meow. Of course, you can record your own sounds as well. And keeping going here, we have our events block. So we see the when program starts block here up at the top. There's a bunch of other blocks too, which are really useful. These will allow you to plug in and play with different sensors and have actions occur when those sensors are triggered. So for example, here's our color sensor. So assuming it was plugged into port A, when it sees the color red, we could have an action happen. So for example, we could take that cat's meow, and then when the color sensor sees the color red, it'll play the cat's meow. That's just a general overview. We'll go deeper into some of these in future videos. Also important is our control. So the events is kind of a yellow, lighter yellowy orange, and then a darker orange we have all our control blocks. These are super important. We have things like the wait block, the repeat block, the forever block, and of course the heart of programming, the if-then block. And maybe the most important is the if-then-else block. And these we'll cover these in other videos, but these are probably going to be your most used blocks in terms of the ones available through the control category. Then we get down to our sensors. And you'll notice these blocks have some very unique shapes. Some of them have kind of an arrow shape at the end. So whenever you see that, that means that block will fit into the appropriately shaped space on other blocks. So in this example, I'll just get rid of these for a sec. So for example, we could have a simple code that says, when program starts, if the color sensor plugged into port A sees the color red, then do this. So again, we might have our happy face, show a happy face, and that's a simple if statement. And then if we wanted, we could make that more complicated by adding the same set of blocks to if then else statement. So if color sensor plugged into port A sees the color red, turn on happy face. Else means otherwise. So if the sensor is not seeing red, you would get it to do something else. So that might be a different face. So we could turn on I'm going to grab a different one actually. And turn on, oh, it's going to make me program it. So we'll just change this to a sad face. So that would be, we could replace this whole block here. So just to kind of recap, this program would basically do when the program starts, if the color sensor sees the color red, turn on the happy face for 2 seconds. Otherwise, always display the sad face. And to make that always happen, we need to add one more set of blocks from control, which would be our forever loop. So we contain the whole thing in a forever loop. So not only does a forever loop always run whatever program is inside here, it'll also forever check if a condition is true. So that's our sensor blocks as well. There's a lot more we could dig down in here. And of course, here we have all our different math operators, which we'll save for another tutorial. And then we have our variables, and then your own blocks here. So these are blocks where you essentially customize what's going to happen in your programming sequence. And as we looked over here, whenever we want to play something and sample it onto our hub, as long as we're connected, we press on the play button. And over here, we can also download those programs to different storage folders on the hub. So you see each of these numbers represent a different program that you can download onto your hub. It goes up to 19. So we could have 19 different programming files on there. So this is very important too if you were going to, say, a competitive robotics setting and you wanted to have a bunch of programs already loaded onto your hub. This would be a way for you to store those programs. Okay, so lots more we can cover there, but that's it for our video tour of the programming platform.